Okay, we are up in all of the places prior to getting TikTok going. Let's see. Hi, No Name. Hi, 411. Hi, Tyler. Hello, Aspen. Hello, Nike. And then let's make sure to turn on that. Okay. Sweet. That all is done. I really need to figure out how to. No, I need that on. How to change that. Refresh. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Hey, Eric. Hi, guys. Hey, Walosi. I do, Dark. I do. Ah, Summers. What you doing? Hi, mamas. Hi, mamas. Hi, mamas. Stop it. Stop it. What? 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 I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, I gotta change that too. My bad. Hold on. Have that wrong. Didn't. There we go. That's what was meant to be up there. If you saw the dog in real life, she would let you pet her after she made sure you weren't going to try to do anything crazy. Because that's what the puppers do. There we go. TikTok. All right. Oh, did that again, isn't it? Doing it to me again. Summer. Lay down. Okay. We'll turn that off for now. Hit that button. Good morning, everybody. Well, morning for some of y'all. We'll just put it that way. It's not morning for everyone. Just everybody on the East Coast it's not morning for, but hey. It's still that brunch time, though. Oh. Honestly, it's just something that I think they update it to try to get more people like engaged in the chat. I don't really know otherwise, because it's new to like the last couple months. Good morning, RJ. RJ, if you're going live, you owe me a tax, just so you know. But I don't think you're going live. I think you're in my chat because you're. Oh, 100%. That's not even an argument. Good morning, Court. Hey, Austin. Yeah, I was like, you wouldn't normally be in here if you were going to go live. I was just going to make a joke that you owe me a tax. If you were. Oh, man. Okay. I'm going to put this in here. Ah. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, River. I'm always, well, no, I'm not. But thank you, Court. I appreciate that. I was going to say something, but it would have been wrong. Y'all don't forget over on TikTok to get to tap in that screen. I have to put a new text thing. See, occasionally on TikTok for some reason. My text that I'll put up on the screen that says how many likes I want to get up to will just stop updating sometimes. So then I have to do a new one. And it is quite annoying. But it's just kind of how it happens because TikTok is not perfect. No, Tone, I am not. Oh, man. Oh, I need to move this back over. My bad. Nope, not that. That over. That looks better. See, listen, guys. Hey, Moose. Good morning. I wasn't here yesterday, right? I wasn't on yesterday, so this number got updated to we went 1 day without a dumpster fire. 1 day without a dumpster fire. Good morning, Chris. I also want to let you guys know that I decided to go back and look. And guess who did indeed call me on Thursday? Who wants to take a guess that was here on Thursday? And did RJ leave here without sending his heart me? That's rude. No, Scotty, that would have been funny though. No, I just confirmed that somebody called back that said that wasn't them. Yeah. Uh-huh. Thank you guys for the heart me's. Yeah, guys, don't forget to come in, send your heart me's over on TikTok as we get going. Hey, JK Pockets. Yes, Moose and Court got it right. Yes, Walosi. I know, you know. Not everybody has it right. Is its own country. But she said, so she's from one area of Texas, right? And she said that she was from New Orleans. And she didn't say it the way that individuals from New Orleans would say. She also said her name was Angel, and it was really funny. Oh, well, I would appreciate that. You can come back to the purpley one, though. Thank you. Congrats on the level up, Scarlett. Thank you. Still waiting for RJ. I just am here to poke fun at my friends. Guys, tippy tappy that screen over on TikTok. We got to get this thing running so we can get this thing going. Hey, Natty. I know, right? It was so obvious, no name. It was so obvious. Yes, don't forget to send a heart me and comment. RJ's already done that, but he hasn't sent his heart me. I'm just poking fun at my good friend. So there is that. Thank you, Mirmidden. I appreciate that. It just told me happy belated birthday. Oh, you might have to correct that, RJ. Lenati says you're always an op. I know, right? Just send the heart me, and then I stop harassing people. Yes, happy belated birthday. Thank you again. You made it out alive. You sure did, Belchy. What's up, Jeff? Jeff, it's been a while since I think I've seen you in here. Welcome back, man. I hope you had a good hiatus from some Polititalk. Or you've been in here recently and the comments were flying, so I didn't notice. And if that's the case, I'm sorry. I don't know which way it goes, so thought I'd make sure I put that out there. So I don't know if you realize this, but TikTok does this new thing after you send a heart me and you comment in order to collect your team memberships. You have to go back up. They want to make sure you're really engaged. You have to go back up and collect your points. Oh, that's adorable. Why didn't that get on my face? Thank you, Scarlett. I wish that I'd gotten on my head. It didn't. TikTok doesn't like me. Oh, that's difficult, Jeff. That is difficult. As somebody that does this, and actually, you know, they come to me, you know, that's difficult. I just cleared that out. How is that a thing? Okay, there we go. Just so everybody knows, we are starting fresh minus 3 calls that have already come in this morning. So that's cool. Yeah. I hope none are gonna misbehave, Moose. I like having good conversations. You wish they did, Kazi, I'm sure. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there? Okay, bye. There we go. Oh, yeah. Well, that's good, Kazi. Good to know. Good to know. Very, very good to know. But yeah, if you voted for Donald Trump, feel free to hit hit up that phone number up at the top of the screen. Let's see. I do, Matthew. I actually have 4 active streams right now, Matthew. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there? Hello. Lala, I was actually just thinking about you before I got on and I forgot to message you. I hope you had a great day yesterday. Happy Halloween and happy marriage day. That's a wild fucking comment. It's only one day, Aaron, that I don't do the hotline. One day a week. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there? Okay. Ooh. Are they, Lala? Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
How old am I? I'm 55.
Awesome. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. Donald's doing a great job.
Okay. What has you questioning your support in Donald Trump or the MAGA movement today?
Well, this government shutdown has me kind of confused. You know, I watch the news and I see that he's blaming it on the Democrats for not agreeing to the new bill that's passed. But I'm a little confused about the whole thing. I thought maybe you could tell me a little more about it.
Okay. Can you tell me who has the majority in the House and the Senate right now?
Well, I thought that the Republicans have the majority, but don't they
They do.
require a larger vote than just half?
No, they actually don't. See, Trump revealed the game that I've been telling everybody all along. That it'd actually be very easy for the Senate Republicans to go ahead and get it passed. He put out on his True Social post Friday, well, actually, sorry, it was Thursday night, telling the Senate to go with the nuclear option. The same thing that I've been telling my
Yeah, I'm
my
confused about
stream
that whole nuclear
this
option
whole
thing
time.
too. Exactly, what does that mean? I don't understand. I've
Yeah.
been hearing
So it's called
that term, but
cloture.
I don't understand.
It's called cloture. Okay. So what it is so it's the Senate Majority Leader who is John Thune, right? A Republican out of South Dakota, or yeah, one of the Dakotas. My bad if I don't know exactly. He's not my representative, but I just do remember his name. So all he would have to do is call for a cloture vote saying that this bill no longer meets the requirements that makes it need the 60 vote threshold for the filibuster. And that cloture vote just needs a simple majority. And on the last vote that we had on the HR 5371, which is the continuing resolution that the Republicans passed the House and is now sitting in the Senate. The last vote that they had 53 vote in favor and the rest vote against, right? So 47 vote against. So that means that they have the simple majority needed. And by the way, that's with 2 Republicans, 1 voting no, Rand Paul, of course, and the other one sitting out from voting. And that was so they saw 2 Democrats vote in favor of the bill. So with that being the case, they have the simple majority needed to settle the cloture, to move it forward without the filibuster. Then they would just have to vote again in favor of it. Morning, Cheeky.
Oh, so that's what they're going to do? They're going to vote again on Monday?
No, they haven't decided yet. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is literally what I've been saying since before the shutdown even happened. Since September 30th. I've been saying it since then. So over a month now, right? That they don't need the 60 votes in order to get this passed. The Republicans have just been kicking the can down the street. And if they wait until Monday to do anything, I just want to remind everybody that that means we'll be at a 34 days of a government shutdown. So Trump has then tied himself with his own longest government shutdown in history of the United States of America.
Right. So you're saying it takes a special, I didn't understand the term you used, culture or something like that?
Cloture, Cloture.
Yeah, I never heard that term before. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. I was watching the news and didn't hear it explained quite like that, so I appreciate that knowledge. I don't know if his purpose is just to try and swing the Democrats his way, or what the purpose of this whole thing is going so long. He definitely can't not feed the people.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, that's why when I've told people, like, let's be for real, okay? We'll be so for real. The Democrats do have a part to play in the government shutdown because they have voted against it. But at the same time, they are the minority party in Congress, and they therefore don't have the authority to do anything. And see, the only reason why, and we know this from other senators that said something back in March, that the reason why they voted in favor to keep the government open back in March of 2025 was because Republicans had made promises that they were going to handle the health insurance premiums, the ACA subsidies, before they even came close to coming to be expired. And they never did that, which is why the Democrats are finally, I guess, standing firm in their beliefs that, hey, healthcare is actually a big concern and they need this, right?
Right,
So,
right. Yeah. Why is it that healthcare, they say, is going to rise 20% in premiums next year? I'm kind of confused about that as well.
oh,
I
that was
thought
because
Trump
they
said
were
he agreed
supposed to,
something
like,
to.
I'll be honest, guys, like, they were supposed to be temporary subsidies originally to assist people during the time of the pandemic. But because, like, let me be very clear. The ACA itself is not perfect. It needs a lot of reworking done to make it work well for everybody. And the subsidies are just going to be a band-aid for it. And so, like, but they are absolutely needed because people will be seeing their premiums rise dramatically without it, right? Because it's not 20% of an increase, it's about a 45% increase, I believe.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the issue. But I'm just being very honest that the system
And
itself is
that
broken and it
increase
needs
affects
rewritten.
self-employed people as well. Like I pay over $2,000 for health care for me and my wife,
Yes, you should have already
and
received some kind of letter that explained it.
oh,
Yeah. Actually, I think if you shop on the ACA marketplace right now, you can see the differences in the prices.
hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will definitely keep my eyes open now. I'm glad you explained how that's working. That is shocking that they can avoid this whole. I mean, say he would have did this 2 weeks ago or whatever. I mean, he could have called for this at any time and just said, well, the Democrat doesn't vote, doesn't matter. I mean, every time they vote for this budget, because there's all kind of of talk going around that this is the 14th time in the row that the Democrats did this to reject the bill and shut down
Oh,
the
let me
government. I
be
mean,
very clear. I want to be very clear with you guys. It's not just the Democrats voting against the bill. It is also Republicans. We know of at least two Republicans that have voted consistently against HR 5371 many times, right? Also, this might surprise people to learn, but John Thune himself, the majority leader, right, the Republican Senate majority leader in Congress, has also voted against HR 5371 5 times.
wow.
Yeah, so this is as much as everybody wants to make this simply, oh, the Democrats are the only ones voting against it. Absolutely not. Other Republicans are absolutely voting against it, including Rand Paul, who is a well-known Republican. Republicans are absolutely voting against this.
And what do you think is the biggest problem with the bill that's causing all the problems?
Oh, Rand Paul just doesn't vote for anything that would increase the budget in any way or increase the deficit in any way. So he just is like, nah, bro, I ain't messing with that. It's just what he does. As far
Yeah,
as
I
other Republicans, they actually do agree to a point with the Democrats that the healthcare cost is an important issue. Like even Marjorie Taylor Greene agrees that it's a larger issue and the Republicans absolutely need to take care of it.
Right. The odd thing is that you never hear them saying, "Well, we have to have a balanced budget." It's always over budget, and you would think that at one time some politician would say that, "Hey, we need a balanced budget to try and get this deficit to reduce instead of having inflation all the time."
And yet our
Um,
deficit hit $37,000 trillion in August. And guess what we just hit in the month of October? On October 22nd, I believe, $38 trillion.
right, and I understand the long term, with government paid
It's
retirement
insane.
for federal workers and stuff, and Social Security and different debts they have. That's over $300 trillion in actual a deficit that has to be made up for in the future. So when everybody says we're the richest country in the world and we shouldn't have anybody hungry, and you say, well, how many other countries are in debt this kind of huge amount of money? I mean, this is
They're not.
trillions is huge. So I don't feel like a rich American when my government is in debt, trillions and trillions of dollars. It doesn't sound rich to me. It sounds like somebody overspent their credit cards.
Yeah. No, yeah, to a degree, that's what it would seem like for the government debt, but that's not how it works. Many first world countries, or what we consider first world countries, run a national deficit, and that's just kind of how it's expected to operate to a degree. Not that I agree with it, but it's just not as scary as some people think that it is or make it out to be. And let me be clear, I think the worst part about all of this is while federal employees are not getting paid, um, the administration and Congress are still actively getting paid today while the government is shut down.
Right. Yeah. I guess a lot of people are curious who's actually on the federal payroll that's sitting home not doing anything, waiting to get called back, or is everybody going to work as usual, just
Oh, no, that's all of
hoping
the
that this?
Republicans in the House. All of them were sent home. I don't think people realize this, but the House Republicans have been on recess since September 19th.
I see.
Yeah.
And these random votes that you see televised sometimes and stuff, they come in for those,
Oh, no,
or
that's
that's
just the Senate. The Senate is the only one that hasn't been on leave. They came
I
back
see.
to
I
work
see.
on September 29th to vote for the continuing resolution that was passed by the House on September 16th. And that's literally the last thing that the House Republicans did was vote on that bill. And then they went home a couple of days later for the whole weekend. They were supposed to report back to Congress on the 29th. They did not. So no, but the Democrats in the House are still, most of them, I don't know about all of them for sure, but most of them are still going to work every single day in Congress.
Okay. Well, so you don't think next week this will be resolved then, or you do?
I hope it will be, but I hope it's done in the interest of the American people. and not just what Trump
And
wants.
and
And
and what
also, let's
states
be
and which
very clear
news
as
items? I
well. If even if this does pass, it only funds the government through November 21st, and I'm sure we're going to see another shutdown then if the Republicans refuse to do anything about healthcare at that time.
Oh, so this doesn't resolve it once and for good, then.
Nope, it'll just come back up in less less than 20 days later.
So I've also been scanning the news, and they're saying certain states are going to issue emergency funds for the SNAP, and other ones aren't. So
Correct.
how does
25
how do people?
states have all but two of them being Democrat ran um, are still funding the SNAP benefits, and they've sued the federal government and claiming that they do still have the emergency funds to spend on healthcare, or sorry, on SNAP EBT benefits, which they do because need I remind everybody that Donald Trump absolutely continued to fund SNAP in his first term of presidency when he had the longest government shutdown in United
You're
States history,
awesome.
going from December 2018 into January 2019, he still funded SNAP benefits for January.
So are there Americans now that their SNAP benefits haven't been re-upped on their cards, or is that not a problem, or is it a
Only in some
problem?
states.
And which states have the problem?
I'm sorry, it's literally only half the country that is continuing to sorry, continuing to fund SNAP benefits for their state constituents.
Mm,
It's only 25 states. It's half the country.
I see. I was just wondering how my state of Pennsylvania falls into that mix. I tried to look it up on Google, but I didn't see any results.
Yeah, that one I'm not sure of, the state of Pennsylvania. But what I would encourage you to do in 2026 is vote out John Fetterman.
Yeah, I seen some news article recently that he was kind of against being uh, his own party for different reasons. I don't quite get exactly why, but I guess he has disagreement with some of the
Oh, you
procedures.
should just look at his campaign website. He says some deplorable things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's famous for not being the snappiest dresser, and
I look at him and I think of Gargamel.
yeah, I guess he has some excuse for being health issues that he can't wear certain clothes because of they hurt him or something like
Oh, I
that.
mean,
I
I
don't know
don't
if he.
care about how he dresses. That doesn't bother me. Like some people don't feel comfortable with certain fabrics. Like, yeah, people have health issues. That's true. Like that doesn't bother me. I have to cut out tags out of all of my shirts because they irritate my skin. And I typically have to re-sew the seams because of it. People have sensitive skin.
I
Yeah,
guess
as
people just
Lizzie says, no one cares about his hoodie. That's true.
it's like showing up for court, though. I mean, these guys have high positions. You would expect them to wear formal dress, not a hoodie to their particular job. I don't know. If you hired an attorney for $500 an hour and he showed up in a hoodie, you'd think that was a little inappropriate, right?
I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. I hope this resolves itself. It's a big concern for a lot of people.
Yep, it'll whatever it is, it'll be a stopgap. So we'll see what happens come November 21st.
Certainly. And what's your first name? I didn't get your name.
It's Ari.
Thank you, Ari. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. Okay, let me get through some of these. Guys, if you are watching over on TikTok, don't forget to send your daily heart me and keep double tapping that screen. RJ, thank you for the jewels. Real Patriot, can we get huge W's for Real Patriot in the chat for sending out 5
You're
gifted
awesome.
memberships? I appreciate that oh so much. If you received a gifted membership from Real Patriot, be sure to thank them in the chat. Degan says no lawmaker should make more than the average wages. They should be paid hourly only for their time serving their constituents. I don't disagree with you. What I think would actually put things into perspective for congressional representatives, and I don't necessarily agree with this, but this would just be like an idea, is if for maybe 2 months out of an entire year, they only got paid the hourly minimum wage for whatever state it is that they represent. And then maybe that'll force them to go back to their state and think about raising that minimum wage because they'll have to realize they can't live off of that. Shaitaku, thank you for the jewels. Bradley, thank you for the jewels. Coldy, fix the complex fraud in the food stamp program. So I'm going to let you know this. There is some fraud in food stamps as far as like individuals being defrauding the system. It's less than 5% of individuals. A lot of it is administrative errors. That is the fraud that you guys claim it to be when you actually look at the statewide audits. Discontinuing the entire system does not fix anything. All right, we'll go ahead and open these phone lines back up. You know what, Andrew? That's a good point too. They should be only get paid the minimum wage when they aren't in session. You know, that's actually a good way to go. That would be a pretty good way to go, actually. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
20.
20. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Not particularly.
All right, well, I am just looking for Trump voters and supporters, so I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. No, we don't do that well, OC. Thank you, Shy, again for the 600 jewels. Guys, there are multiple ways that you can support me, and all of it is available in the chats. Oh, I know, Matt. Then come on up, Gina. What truth? I bet you won't. Yeah, I didn't think so, Gina. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Oh.
Hi, how old are you?
32.
32. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Never did. Just wanted to say you're really pretty. That's all. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one. Also, guys, on TikTok, don't forget to send in your daily heart me. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there? Okay. There we go. Y'all are doing really good on these likes. I appreciate that. They do. They do indeed. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes.
How old are you?
19.
Kid, go outside and play, I don't know, soccer or something. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yep.
Awesome. How old are you?
40.
Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Every day.
Every day. And what has you questioning your support in Donald Trump or the MAGA movement today?
Oh, I'm not questioning my support for Donald Trump. I'm questioning your support for Donald Trump.
I don't. There's your answer. Can you tell me 3 lies that Donald Trump has told since he was inaugurated into office this year?
Say that again. Tell you 3 lies about what?
Tell me 3 lies that you know Donald Trump has told since he was inaugurated into office January 20th, 2025.
Let's see. I could probably think of a few because every president lies, so that's nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, for example, I don't think America was ever really great. I think it was always on the cusp of greatness. but something was always holding us back. Let's see. We'll just go with that one for right now. I can't think of any more right now.
I would love for you to think of more because that's just an opinion, right? That's just his opinion, your
Right, right.
opinion, and it's just a catchphrase that people got sold a lie on, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's see. What else could I think of? Let's see. You said from either term I can go, or just this term?
just since he was inaugurated this year.
Yeah, I really can't think of any more just from this term. Nope. Not that I can think of at this point. I mean, overall, we're never going to be able to stop illegal immigration, right? And I guess one more from this inauguration this term would be that he's going to stop the flow of drugs through and into America completely. That's never going to happen. So those would be three things that would really, they're just really opinions that he might have, but you can consider those lies or maybe embellishments.
Okay. So what we can go with real quick is Donald Trump claims that crossings are at 0. Is that true? Yes or no? What do you think?
No, it's not true. Now it is
Yeah.
at the lowest it's been since the 70s, since Nixon's era. So that's
where do
true,
we,
but it's not 0.
Where does the Department of Homeland Security, Immigrations Customs Enforcement, or Customs and Border Protection keep track of crossings?
I really couldn't answer that. I'm only going by what I see on news channels right there. I can't really say that I researched that.
Yeah,
This is just something that,
let you know they don't.
Yeah.
So the only thing that we have to go on is a media release, which is them just saying whatever they
Right.
want, which with
But the
non-provable
media
evidence or
is funded by
statistics.
liberals. So who's actually telling the lie there?
No,
The
so
media
I
is
don't think you
funded by
understand
liberals.
this. No, a
Yeah.
media release, like a media news or press release, those are all the same things, right? So when they publish it on their own DHS.gov, CBP.gov, or ICE.gov website, and it's categorized under news, media, or press release, because I can't remember which word they use because they use different ones on each website, right? That's them
It's liberal
giving
media.
that's
It really is.
okay. I'm sorry. If the Department of Homeland Security is posting on their own .gov website, that is liberal media.
Well, that's a good. Okay, I'll give you that
what
one. You
I'm
got me there. I
talking
can't
about.
say for sure. Okay, I got you. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
that's
So,
what
okay.
I'm talking about.
All right.
No, Arcus, you are not going crazy. Sorry, somebody in the chat was asking about we put green in our hair last night, and it didn't wash
yeah.
out all the way.
Right on.
So yeah, you
Hey,
guys will
green's
still
great.
see
I like green. So
some green randomly. My bad, guys. But yeah, no. So what I'm talking about is the Department of Homeland Security's own personal press releases that they put out. So their statements to the press, right, that they publish. They are
Right.
the only ones that are claiming that crossings are at 0, but there is no statistical data or evidence to prove it, because I think even you would agree
Well, there's
that
no other
illegal
statistical data
immigrants.
or evidence to disprove it either. So you really can't say, because
Right.
like
Here's why.
we mentioned
No, I
moments
was going into
ago,
this real quick.
politicians lie
I was going
across
into
the
this real
board.
quick. I was going into that real quick.
Yeah.
Illegal
Yeah.
immigrants are cross through the border through non-ports of entries and are not caught, correct?
Yeah, I mean,
Correct.
absolutely. I
So
mean, you can't say that people at the gates aren't
unquantifiable
allowing them through.
number. So it's an unquantifiable number, and that's the point that I was trying to get to. So for them to make a bold claim saying that illegal border crossings are at 0 is literally just that. It is a bold claim, because anybody with a lick of sense would have some kind of knowledge, understanding that if it's an illegal border crossing, that means they were not caught. Right? There was no evidence of them coming across the way. We couldn't find them. They weren't seen by CBP, the Marines, or freaking National Guard at the southern border. Like, we just don't know about them.
Okay, so are you saying currently that conservatives are stating that it's at 0%? Because I'm going to be honest with you, everything that I've seen doesn't say anything about 0% for illegal border
is saying that
crossings.
they're at 0. border crossings. They've said that they've had 0 border crossing. Donald Trump has reiterated that claim. He hasn't just said we have the lowest border crossings in history. He's literally said we had no crossings this month. And then he's continued on to be like, we've had the lowest crossings in history, but he keeps going back and forth between the two statements. And they say 0 all the darn time, especially Kristi Noem. But again, they don't, because illegal immigrants or illegal aliens, undocumented immigrants cross the border through non-ports of entries and aren't caught nor are they seen, means that it's an unquantifiable number. We're not able to put an actual tally mark in there to keep track of it. That's why it has never been kept track of since CBP, ICE were started, right?
But would you agree that it has been a drastic decrease in the amount of illegal border crossings since
No,
Trump has
because
taken
again,
back
we
in
have
office?
no proof of
No.
that. We have no proof
Well,
of that.
but
We
you have nothing
no
to
proof.
disprove that either.
Yeah, so
I can
so
tell you.
that's what you were saying. I can't know something that I have no proof of. So you may have the belief that you may have the belief that there are lower illegal border crossings, but because you have no data nor evidence to prove something, you cannot know that that is true. You can believe it, but you cannot know it. No means that there is evidence that proves it.
You're obtaining that information from again? I'm currently on the
DHS.gov,
Southwest Land Border Encounters
CBP.gov,
website.
ICE.gov. All of them have put out press releases from
CBP.gov, that's
Kristi
where I'm at.
Noem
Okay.
claiming that there
That
are
doesn't give you-
zero border encounters. There are
This
not
page
zero
doesn't
border
tell me-
encounters, but 0 crossings. Yeah, so what you're looking at is encounters. And encounters have a very specific definition put out by the Department of Homeland Security, which just means that everybody that is counted up in that number are inadmissibles. They were not allowed into the country and they were returned to their home country or the next closest country. That's literally what encounters are, right? It means they were stopped.
As an encounter, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, that means they were stopped and rejected.
It does specifically state Southwest Land Border Encounters right here on the U.S. Customs page.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah, I've been all up on that website, right? But I'm talking about that there is nowhere on any DHS.gov website, so IC or CBP.gov, do they keep track of crossings, illegal or legal crossings.
Hello?
I'm still here. What? Dude hung up. All right, Dracos, thank you for the jewels. Rick, thank you for the jewels. The current program needs to be removed and rebuilt to prevent fraud and illegals from taking advantage of the program and prevent freeloaders. Okay, couple things here. Prove the fraud for me. So fraud is a federal crime. Prove the fraud. Provide me the federal indictments for fraud. Okay. And prove that illegals are somehow utilizing SNAP, because I guarantee that there's this very cool law that you've never heard of before that makes this statement completely untrue. I will give you a hint. It was passed in 1996. If you can tell me what that name of the law is, I will believe that you've actually read something. Waiting. Haven't seen it yet. Where's your proof? Oh, you don't have any? That tracks, because there is none. Thank you, Bruce, again for the jewels. All right, but we've opened these phone lines back up. And so here's my thing. I don't believe in cutting off an entire program to fix it is the right answer. You can fix a program while it's still up and running. It's called just rewriting the laws and instituting other things. Yes, he did hang up. Haha, there you go, Angel. Or Angela, my bad. Angela's got it. But Colby don't got it. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yep.
Hi, how old are you?
35.
35. What country are you calling from?
Canada.
Okay, have a good one. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
I can. How old are you?
I'm 28.
28. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
No.
No? All right. Well, I hope you have a great Saturday. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Thank you for, okay. And you're 20. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. And what has you questioning your support in Donald Trump or the MAGA movement today?
I'm questioning the MAGA movement just because there are certain individuals who are associated with it who aren't great, and so that of course is a problem. But that's with any political movement, of course. But
Okay.
it just seems very counterintuitive. But the main thing is the people voting against the current Republican bill.
And that has you questioning your support?
Yeah, like I want to know what they're against on that bill. Because like in my understanding, it's just a lower bill and you can always negotiate, all right, we're going to add subsidies. Because ultimately, right, the goal is to not
So why aren't the
subsidize
Republicans available
companies.
for the Democrats to meet and negotiate right now?
I'm sorry?
Said, why aren't the Republicans in Congress available to meet to negotiate with the Democrats right now?
What do you mean?
The Republicans in
Like
the House
they're
of Representatives have been out of session since September 19th, 2025, and have not been back to work since then. So, again, why are the Republicans not going to work daily to negotiate with the Democrats that are still going to Congress every day?
because they issued a proposal that can be expanded upon. They issued a minimum proposal that then after it gets passed, they can expand upon it to compromise
Yeah, they were
between the
supposed to do that
Republicans
in
and
March.
Democrats.
I don't know if you realize this, but in March, when Chuck Schumer and a handful of Senate Democrats voted in favor of the continuing resolution that was passed back in March to keep the government open and not, force it to close, Republicans made promises at that time that they would definitely be handling the subsidies prior to the end of the summer. And the summer rolled by, they didn't do anything. And now, because that was not handled prior to, and a lot of things were done away with within the one big beautiful bill, HR 1, that was passed into law on July 4th, 2025, the Democrats are standing 10 toes down on their belief that they want these subsidies back, as they were promised the negotiation to occur for the last 7 months prior to the government shutting down. Sorry, 6 months prior to the government shutting down. So where were the Republicans negotiating for the Democrats in the last 6 months?
That's the point. Is
They
this
weren't.
bill is supposed to get passed
Yes.
first. It's a
No, it's
minimum
not. No, it's
value.
not. No, that's why the Democrats in the Senate voted in favor to keep the government open in March of 2025, was because they were made promises by the Republican Party to work on the subsidies after that was passed. We are now in November of 2025, and negotiations still have not occurred between the Republicans and the Democratic representatives, which is the problem, because they were supposed to occur after March of 2025. So again, where are the Republicans to negotiate with the Democrats that are still showing up to work every day while the Republicans sit their butts at home?
What are the Democrats doing?
They are still going to work every single day
They're
and
going to work
trying
and
to
doing
negotiate.
nothing.
They're trying to negotiate with the Republican Party because
No,
the
they're
one
not.
person, the one person that is still going to work every day out of the House of Representatives is Mike Johnson, and they're constantly being shown on national television, right, on C-SPAN every single day, Monday through Friday, of them going up to Mike Johnson's door and asking to talk to him. But he won't open the door to talk to the Democrats, and he only will talk to them when they stop him in the hallways while he's on his way to go to his own press conference to tout himself up. Like, let's be very clear. The Democrats are there every single day trying to negotiate with Mike Johnson because he sent all of the other Republicans home and they have not been to work since September 19th, 2025, while they sit home in their home states on vacation, still getting paid. But guess what? Our federal employees aren't getting paid while they also still show up to work every single day. But they get paid for an extended vacation that has lasted almost 2 months now. So again, where are the
There's also
Republicans
Kevin
to
Kiley.
negotiate?
There's also Kevin Kiley showing up to work besides
Cool,
Johnson.
cool. And has Kevin Kiley met with any of the Democrats?
No.
No, okay. But the Democrats are still there going and knocking on their doors every single day to talk to them, but they're being ignored. Isn't that interesting?
Yes, because
And the Democrats
they
are trying
already-
to meet with the Republican senators, like the House of Representative members are trying to meet with the Republican senators to also try to negotiate something within the bill while they're actively, still debating it on the floor every single day, except for Friday because they left early on Friday from John Thune. He let them go for the weekend early.
So the two proposals are already at the Senate, and that's why the Senate keeps voting on the proposal.
I'm aware of that.
It's
I
not.
know how Congress works more than you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So
Okay,
again, when I'm
that's
asking
a
you
crazy
why,
assumption.
well,
But-
you've still been failing to answer one question for me. Where are the Republicans to negotiate with the Democrats right now who are still continuing to go to work? Where are they? ¿Dónde está?
Why should the Republican Congress members be there when they have already issued their proposal?
Why should they be there? You just said that they needed to negotiate. That's what you said.
So
where are the Republicans? No. See, and I clarified this for you. Where have the Republicans been for the last 7 months when they promised to negotiate with the Democrats prior to the end of the summer in March of 2025? Where have the Republicans been to negotiate with the Democrats that they promised to when they did actually? If you actually do any bit of research, you would find that that's why, not Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer is a fucking clown, okay? Like, I don't like Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer is a fucking clown. But as far as the other Senate Democrats, they absolutely said that they would only vote on this bill if they could get some negotiation with the Republicans to do something about the expiring subsidies prior to the end of the summer, as long as they could help their constituents when it came to health care. But no, that didn't happen. The Republicans in Congress have refused to meet with them or negotiate with them constantly since March of 2025. So when I'm asking you again, where have the Republicans been to negotiate with the Democrats? I'm still waiting for your answer.
I'm asking you, where did they promise that? They did not.
They
The
did.
Democrats
Again,
said they
go
would
do
it
a little
in
bit of
exchange for
research,
that.
sir. Go do a little bit of
researching it
research.
right now. It
Oh,
doesn't
yeah?
say it.
Yeah, it doesn't say that. Where? On whose website? On whose Senate website?
Where?
Tell me.
Where does it
Tell
say
me.
they did it?
Tell
I'm
me.
looking. I don't
Tell
see
me.
any proof of
Where
your
are you
statement.
looking? What did you type in?
No, I'm asking you. Surely you have a source. Do you have a
Yeah,
source?
dude, Cory Booker
You're
has
making
talked
a
about
claim.
it.
You have to back it up.
Hakeem Jeffries has talked about it. Like, AOC has talked about it. Bernie Sanders has talked about it. I don't know where you've been sitting at.
Bernie Sanders is not a congressman.
Wait, you think you know something about Congress? Bernie Sanders is not a congressman?
He's a senator.
Sir, there are two parts that make up Congress, yes or no?
Yes.
And what are
Okay.
those called?
Yes. You mean Congress as a whole? I meant. Okay. I'm just talking about the House.
House of Representatives and the Senate. That is Congress. That is the umbrella of Congress. When we say Congress, yes, it's Congress as a whole because that's what it is. If I say the House, that means the House. If I say the Senate, that means the Senate. Congress encapsulates the two.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. We were just talking about the House of Representatives, and that you said Bernie Sanders, and so I was confused. I was like, he's not in the House.
I'm
of
sorry, who is
Representatives.
Cory Booker?
Cory Booker. I'm not familiar with that name.
Oh, that's a senator.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not just talking about the House.
Okay. But I was talking about the House. I was talking about where that promise was by these House Democrats.
It wasn't to the House. Again, who is Chuck Schumer?
Chuck Schumer is the lead of the Democrat Party.
Where?
You're awesome.
In the House.
That's Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries is the minority leader in the House of Representatives. Chuck Schumer is the minority leader in the Senate. So when I said the Senate Democrats, with the exception of Chuck Schumer, because I think he's a clown, right, were promised negotiations by the Republicans in Congress as a whole, right? Because you think that the two parts of Congress don't talk, they absolutely do. They were promised by both parts of Congress, the Republicans, that they were going to work on medical issues like the Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, EBT, all of these things, the ACA subsidies. They were promised that was going to be worked on before the end of the summer, and it didn't happen. Please go learn more about Congress. I want to say that he's the one that got insulted when I told him I know more about Congress than you do. And then he just proved me right. Holy shitballs. You can base a belief on interactions we have with illegal crossings, 300K Uber Biden versus 3K under Trump. Based on that, that means we are encountering less people at the border, which is an indicator. No, it's not. See, when I see border encounters occurring, which again, an encounter as defined by DHS means all inadmissibles that are found, like encountered, right? And then they're not allowed into the country. An encounter just shows that CBP is doing their job in stopping people, right? That's all that means. That's the only thing that you can take that to mean. Again, that's what you know it means, is that CBP is doing their job at the southern or the northern border to encounter people. You see how you said belief. A belief is something that you personally can believe without any evidence to show this, right? That is your personal belief. I do not have to share the same belief system because that's how that works. I can know something to be true if you provide me evidence, but that is not what you are doing. You have reinstituted the fact that you are stating a belief system and not something backed by actual knowledge. There is a court case going on involving 5 federal employees surrounding SNAP fraud. Also, the Dems voted to close the governments on them. No, it's not. It's literally not on them. Show me, hey, Coldy, I'm appreciating all of the super chats. I am. Show me where when they voted against the continuing resolution 5371, right? Show me where it was the Democrats specifically said, I'm voting to keep the government shut down. Words have meaning. They've never said that. They've never said, I'm specifically voting to keep the government shut down, right? They've never said that. Okay? And again, you've also proved my point. For individual fraud, it's about less than 5%. The majority of the fraud in these programs are not perpetuated by the individuals that receive the funds. You said federal employees. Thank you for proving my point. It's not clean. It's not clean. I can tell you didn't read it. It's not even the same bill that was passed in 2024 as the Republicans are telling you to your fucking faces. Y'all are so funny. We'll open up these phone lines. Yeah, exactly. It's totally partisan. See me, they don't know. It's okay though. It's not a reconciliation bill. It is a continuing resolution. If it was a budget reconciliation, they wouldn't need the 60 vote threshold. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes.
Awesome. How old are you?
36.
36. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And what has you questioning your support in Donald Trump or the MAGA movement today?
I'm sorry, it broke up a little bit.
What has you questioning your support in Donald Trump or the MAGA movement today?
I mean, overall, I guess I'm not really questioning it. I guess more than anything, it's like there's a lot of people in the MAGA group that no matter what he says or does, they act like it's all good, it's all great, and that kind of drives me nuts. But I mean, with the choices we have, unfortunately, everything is so partisan that, like, if you believe in a strong border, you have to vote a certain way. Or if you believe in, like, there's not really a middle ground for us, unfortunately. It's either one extreme or the other.
Mm-hmm. All right. And can you identify 3 lies that Donald Trump has told since he was inaugurated into office this year?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, you'd think that would be easy because he literally runs his mouth all the time about a million things. I don't really watch all of his press conferences or stuff most of the time. It's just gibberish, but so I'm not really, I would definitely not try to sit here and say he doesn't lie if that's what you're trying to get at.
I
I just don't
try
really see.
to encourage people to be critical of the president. And so when I ask that question, I'm actually wanting them to think about
I
it
got you.
and like be able to question him, because unfortunately I find too many people are incapable of questioning him.
Well, we're in agreement there. I think a lot of people do that. I try not to do that. There's a lot of stuff he says and does that I disagree with. Like I said, I guess I'm probably maybe an outlier just because I really don't have that like sense of allegiance where everything has to be good. Like I think their recent thing with like starting nuclear testing again, I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Why is this necessary? The whole world knows we have nukes.
That's true.
Stuff like that just ratchets up the tensions and it's unnecessary. It's just like, so yeah, I mean, I definitely don't just act like everything, but I know what you mean. I see a lot of Trump supporters that are that way. It's like, no matter what he says or does, they will bow down. But then on the other side, there's a lot of people that no matter what he says or does, it's all bad and evil, which isn't true either. You know, it's like both sides are just way too extreme. For example, like even like RFK and the whole movement there, I don't agree with everything he says and does for sure, but as Americans, we all were in agreement that big food and like all these companies, you know, they don't have our health in mind. They're just in it for the profit. And then we finally have a group that's like, trying to do something about it, but because they're on the Donald Trump side, then they're like a whole half of the country just acts like it's no good. But there is definitely good being done there. So yeah, I guess it's just I wish all of us could get a little more.
What
Like everyone could
exactly
calm down a
has
little bit.
RFK done to make food more safe in this country?
Well, I think some of this, like getting certain dyes out of foods. I mean, stuff
Was
like
that
that. We've
passed?
all.
Has
What's that?
RFK remove food dyes?
Well, I don't even know. I'm just like some of the stuff I've read says that there are companies that are, even if they haven't like implemented some law, I know that there are some of the manufacturers of different foods have announced that over the next year or two that they're going to start eliminating some of these things from their manufacturing, which
I just want
I
to
think is a plus.
be clear. So it's only a voluntary transition by food manufacturers, but it doesn't guarantee that they will remove them. It's not required.
No, I agree, and I mean, I'm hoping that there's a lot obviously that goes on behind the scenes that we don't all get to see and hear. But like, I guess I just mean there's an entire administration, and even if you don't agree with everything that they're doing, like just like if you didn't agree with everything that the Biden administration was doing, it's silly to act like there was no good things that got done under his presidency. Even if you didn't like the guy, there's thousands and thousands of people out there working on different things, and it's inevitable that even if you're on the other side of the political aisle, that there's going to be things done that you would agree with, like, but unfortunately the last 10 years or 15 years in this country, politics has just gotten so hyper partisan. It's either all or nothing. There's no middle ground for anybody. Like, you either have to be all in left or all in right. And I just think that's not going to benefit any of us.
I don't know. I saw plenty of people that follow me because of the fact that I do remain in the middle and I can criticize both sides, like how I called Chuck Schumer a fucking joke. Because he is.
You're
Well,
awesome.
we agree there. Yeah, I think there's a lot more people that are on the middle in this country, but unfortunately, like, the media does a good job of keeping us all thinking that our neighbor's our enemy just because they voted for someone else. And I think it definitely happens both ways. There's a lot of demonizing of the right and a lot of demonizing of the left, but the truth is
when do you
most
think
of us
that,
out here.
Sorry, real quick. How old are you again?
I'm 36.
36. When do you think that the political divide started occurring?
So I guess the first election that I was able to vote in was the 2008. So I'm a registered Republican, but I voted for Barack Obama the first time I was able to vote.
100% of the vote.
But I do think I was a lot younger then, so I'll be honest, I wasn't paying as much attention. I was, my late teens, but I think at the time the reason everyone was excited about Barack Obama is because he said he was going to be an agent of change. There'd been a lot of decades of Americans saying like politics wasn't for the people anymore and it was corrupt. Everybody knew that both sides of it were corrupt. And then I think that, and like I said, I wasn't paying as much attention then. I was a lot younger, but I don't think he did as much as people had hoped. It kind of seemed like he was saying, I'm this young guy, I'm going to go into Washington and flip tables over. And
you're still not answering my question, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was your question?
When do you believe that the
political
divide occurred or started?
So I think it was around his second term, probably, or towards the end of it. And I think like that's where I think that's where it started to happen. And I think that Donald Trump even being able to run and win is a sign of how toxic things had gotten, because especially the first time Trump ran, I think a lot of people were voting for him because it was like, what? I mean, does the exact year really matter?
Yeah.
And do you think that things were all hunky dory before Donald Trump ran the first time? Were things great?
I was just trying to pin it down to see if you and I had any kind of idea of like when you felt like this occurred, because I can tell you
I would
my
say
opinion.
probably like 2012, probably around there somewhere, I guess.
There we go. So I would say it actually started in 2011.
Oh, we were pretty close to each other. See?
Yeah, that's why I said that. Yeah, I was like, okay. So I was
Yeah.
actually surprised you said 2012. Cool. All right.
Yeah, I think
And what happened in 2012, in your opinion, that caused it to get so volatile, I guess?
I think it's probably a lot of different things. I do, like I said, I think some of it goes back to people feeling like they took a chance on voting for someone that was supposed to get some of the corruption out of politics and change things and kind of get the train heading back towards the will of the people. And that didn't happen. So I think a lot of people at that point just became, I don't know, not like cynical about it. Like, what's the point? No matter who we vote for, no matter which side, we get little crumbs thrown our way. Elections, they have meaning, whatever they say there. So yeah, we do get whoever wins, like some of their campaign promises might actually get carried out, but for the most part, they don't. And I think a lot of people just got so sick of it that that's why Trump was able to even become the force that he became. He pretty much took over the Republican Party. I mean, they resisted it at all as much as they could, but he pretty much hijacked it, rebranded it in his image, and they either had to get on board or disappear, which a lot of them did, like Paul Ryan and people like that. But yeah, I just think Americans, both sides, have been getting screwed over for a long time. Probably term limits would be one of the only ways we could fix that, but that's like a whole nother conversation. But
Do you
I
remember what
guess I do
happened when
think that
Obama
we
won?
agree.
Do you remember what happened when Obama won in 2012 again? And the Republicans took the majority in the House.
What happened? I mean, they didn't, like, it was just a big stalemate.
No, why? Why was it a big
Or would you-
stalemate? Why?
Probably the Republicans had majority, and they're doing typical politics stuff where they
No,
just
it's not typical
play
politics.
games and-
They literally promised. They told the American people, they promised the American people that they would do everything that they could at all costs to make sure that Obama did not succeed in his second term of presidency.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. See, do you see how like important that is? It's not that they were playing partisan politics. They just made a
Well, yeah, but I
blanket
mean,
statement. We will do everything we can at all costs to make sure that Obama doesn't succeed in his presidency. And
yeah,
you
and that's
see,
the same thing the Dems
and
are
like
doing right now. They just don't have the majority. But the fact is, he won the election. The American people voted, and that means that.
Yeah, and let's be very clear. Obama won with a much greater margin than
I agree.
any margin that
okay.
Donald Trump had seen.
Yeah, that might be true. That's probably true. I'll take your word
for
on
anybody
that.
that says that Donald Trump won in a landslide, you must also have to admit that Obama won in a landslide in that case. And even, in fact, go a step further, a greater landslide than even Trump won.
Yeah, that's true. And I think both of them, even though they both had
he got
much
far
different
more of the electoral
policies,
vote, and then his popular vote was at a much larger margin. Donald Trump only won with the 1.5% popular vote margin.
Well, that's true, but it's also
and
like
50.2% of
irrelevant.
all people who voted against Donald Trump.
That's maybe true, but he still won
It's
the
not maybe
presidency in
true.
the system that we have.
It's quite literally mathematically true. It's quite literally
I'm not disagreeing with you.
true.
Why are you going off on this weird little point?
For
like,
one,
I agree with you.
You're the one who went down this weird tangent about Obama.
No,
you brought him up
you brought up
before
what time I thought things got divided, and I was
and
just
you brought up
explaining
Obama
what I
before
thought.
then. You brought up Obama before I even said all of that.
I didn't even say anything negative about him. I said I voted for him the first time. I'm not sure what your point is.
You're the one that's going off on tangents.
No. All I'm saying is that I agree with you. Obama won by a bigger margin than Trump. That's true. Nobody's denying that. I'm just saying whoever wins the presidency, that is the will of the people. That's how we have our system set up.
No,
So,
it's not. It's
like you were
actually the
saying, the
people in
Republicans,
Congress that are the will of the people because those are
yeah,
very specific to districts.
and they're
So
the majority of the problem for sure.
the presidency is not the will of the people. Otherwise, I'm sorry, Bush never would have won because he didn't win the popular vote. This would have literally been this is actually, right, the first time that technically Donald Trump won the popular vote. But even then, and that's only based off of plurality, if it was the majority, we would have had to have cast another vote because he didn't win the majority vote.
Yeah, but we don't go by that. So
I know we go by plurality.
But I would almost, yeah. I mean, I guess all I'm saying is that both sides, especially when you get into Congress, like whoever is in power generally has the other side just doing everything they can to make them have a failed presidency. Like you had said, the Republicans promised to do to Obama. That's what they thought their voters wanted. So they made that their goal. And then we have the same thing going on now. Although Republicans do have majority, you'd think they'd actually be able to get more done, but they can't even when they have the majority, they're not getting anything done, which is pretty pathetic. But I think Congress is where the majority of the corruption and problems lie in this country, and it definitely goes both
Cool.
ways. It's not a one-sided
Why is
thing.
Donald Trump against Josh Hawley's Honest Act?
I don't know the specific answer to that. The way
used to
Donald
be
Trump
called
is
the
probably just because
Pelosi
he doesn't
Act.
like Josh Hawley personally. So
Oh no, he
that's how
thought
he
it
is.
was
If he doesn't like
funny.
the
Oh my
person,
gosh. He thought it was funny when it was called the Pelosi Act. And then he had to rewrite it because while the Republicans also kind of agreed with it then, he had to add something in there that would exempt the President of the United States from the bill, who is, for the most part, actually the most corrupt person in our government right now, for the moment. So the Honest Act would actually stop all Congress members and everybody in the presidential cabinet and administration from being able to trade in stocks 90 days after the bill would go into law, and they would have to divest all of their stocks if they win their next election before
yeah, I
they're
would
sworn
support
into
that
office.
100%.
Yeah, Donald Trump does it, even though it literally exempts the president of the United States
Yeah.
because it
Well,
wouldn't go into effect for him. So why does
I
Donald
agree with
Trump
you there.
oppose
Like,
it? If he's so against and like draining the swamp, why does he oppose the bill? If it
that's a
exempts
valid
him.
question.
Yeah,
That's
he
a valid
writes it
question.
all up on
And
True Social about how much he doesn't like it. All because what you think it's okay that he just doesn't like something because Josh Hawley's name is on it, even though it's actually a good bill and you could agree with that too. Like for everybody that complains about, oh my God, Nancy Pelosi.
oh yeah, they all do that. They just, I mean, both sides do that.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's clear that is all rigged. Actually, I remember Vivek Ramaswamy talking about that when he was
Dude, I
actually running
can't.
for president.
You are way too all over the place. Yes, guys, you can look up the Pelosi Act. You will find it on Josh Hawley's campaign
You're
website, but
awesome.
it's actually called the Honest Act on Congress.gov. But dude goes from talking about Josh Hawley to Vivek Ramaswamy, and I'm like, dude, I can't. Vivek is irrelevant. Vivek has literally been chastised by young Republicans in his own state of Ohio because he's not Christian. The Dems voted no. There are things removed from because, gosh, English sentence structure is difficult. The Dems voted no, comma, there are things removed from because guess what? The law changed under the BBB, things cut from Medicaid and stuff like that. Minus those things, it's identical. It was clean. It's not identical. Feel free to pull it up. It's still not identical, even if you take out the ideas of Medicaid. Still not identical. This is how I know you haven't read the bill. I guarantee you couldn't tell me what those bill numbers are. Abe says the USAID has a $6 billion emergency fund for situations like government shutdowns. They are currently being sued to compel them to use those funds. The lapse in funding is on the Republicans and on the political ploy. Yes, they actually did win their lawsuit based off of the judge's findings yesterday. They voted in favor of the 25 states that sued the federal government for using these contingency funds. I want to remind everybody that, again, guess what? When Donald Trump was first president and the longest government shutdown in history was under Donald Trump, SNAP benefits continued to be paid. The shutdown ran from December of 2018 into January of 2019, and SNAP benefits were still paid. So yes, it's 100% possible for that to occur. All right, only 538
awesome.
people vote for president. We vote for the people that vote for president. I don't know about that 538 number. That confuses me a bit, Abe, but I do appreciate it. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes, hello.
Awesome. How old are you?
25.
Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
I sure am, yep.
Okay. And what has you questioned your support in Donald Trump or the MAGA movement today?
You know, it is nuanced. I would say that I was looking for a shakeup in the establishment and was a little frustrated when we didn't see that happen on the left. So that was sort of my breaking point.
Okay. I feel
Hello?
like that's a valid reason for maybe the 2017 to 2021 presidency, but not for 2024. Trump has literally become the establishment. Hey, V. Anyway, can you identify 3 lies that Donald Trump has told since he was inaugurated into office?
Oh man, I feel like that would be pretty easy. It would be, I don't know. Well, I'm thinking of the cats and dogs one, but that's you saying since the presidency. I
Yep,
don't know.
just
He
since
lies
January
about.
20th, 2025.
He's changed government websites to say all kinds of very partisan wording, removed things from
Which is a violation
websites
of the
from their
Hatch
websites
Act.
that. Right, exactly. I don't know. Second thing, I can't
But that's not
follow
really a
all of his
lie. It's
ramblings.
just a violation of the Hatch Act.
I consider it worse than a lie, but sure. I mean, I know I can't really answer your question because I don't have 5 that come to mind, but I'm sure there's way more than 5.
Okay. Donald Trump says that gas is under $2.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, according to the EIA, right, the government website, EIA.gov, the national average right now is $3.05, or it's 3.03. I might be off by 2 cents. I still haven't double checked the
Right.
number.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm over in the West Coast. It's higher than that, but I understand that the average is certainly not down to 2. That's not
Right,
correct.
because unfortunately, one state does not represent the entirety of the United States of America when it comes to prices.
Right.
Yeah, I shouldn't say unfortunately. It's just true that it doesn't that doesn't occur.
It is unfortunate. I'm curious if I may bring the conversation back to the to HR 530.
No, I'm good. I literally have
5371.
spent the last hour and 20 minutes talking about one
Oh, you're
singular
done?
thing, and I
Okay,
would
that's
love
fair.
to I'd like to start fresh on conversations. The last 2 people prove that they
Okay.
don't know enough about Congress. So, anyway,
All right. What would you like to discuss?
that's why I'm talking about lies that Donald Trump has told. Portland is under siege.
No.
Cool.
I
'cause-
live in Los Angeles as a conservative, and I can tell you when they said Los Angeles was under siege, it was a tiny little 1 square mile block that
Mhm.
is downtown. LA is
the widest metropolitan area, to my understanding, in the United States, and it's effectively like 5 cities merged into one. So there was nothing like even here. I mean, that wasn't even the case. In Portland, they were very clever in how they protested it, I will say.
Yeah, I like how ICE officers are like so offended by dancing inflatable frogs.
You know what's interesting is in Portland, I saw there's some officers that were actually kind of helping out the protesters, which was interesting. I'm not referring to federal. I'm referring to local.
Mm-hmm. I believe that. I think it's actually cops though, not ICE officers.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm referring to. ICE being federal, they're they're hooded it up. Doesn't really help the whole. We want to rein in the border when we're sending out people that I would shoot if they came to my door. So
Right.
I don't even know if they're police officers or federal agents. It's yeah. I mean, and as a conservative, I say that that's one of the things that frustrates me is I wish he would have handled this in a much more methodical and humane way.
Okay. Donald Trump also. Oh God, there's so many. I was trying to remember one that was more recent. Oh yeah, he did say that he wasn't going to touch the East Wing. That the new
No, well,
ballroom
yeah,
was
that ended
going
up
to
being a
not
lie.
touch the existing structure at all. It'll be close, it'll be near, but it won't be touching. So the existing structure
It,
would not be touched, which is also goes
didn't it start with
against
the Rose Garden first? Didn't he mess with the Rose Garden and then went to the East Wing? Like, I don't
the
care about
Rose
these types
Garden's
of
not even a
things.
garden anymore. It's a garden of concrete.
Yeah. So from my perspective as a conservative, like these things to me, while indicative of his character as president, I voted on policy, and I do understand that there's been, you probably could refute to me, well, hey, these policies aren't being carried out, and there's sort of a propaganda machine going on. I would counter by only saying that has been the case in prior presidencies. I mean, you asked earlier a question of when did the toxicity start. I think it started when McConnell got into office. That guy was a mastermind.
Cool. I don't like going over prior conversations with people. I like starting new with everybody. But I actually thought of my favorite lie that Donald Trump has told, and I'm sure it goes into what policies you voted for. Um, Donald Trump said that he has defeated inflation. He's also said he's ended inflation. Inflation is at zero. Inflation no longer exists for the United States.
I mean, if we had inflation at zero, I work as an economist. If you have inflation at zero, you're going to bankrupt the country. You have to have inflation in order to be able to pay the interest on the debts that we have.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will exceed the ability. So it has to be at around 2% is the figure that we typically agree on.
And I feel like if
So
you
that's
were,
that's not true, and it's also
yeah,
dangerous to suggest that.
cool. So I guess I'm just a little bit curious.
Yeah.
What policy did Donald Trump have out of his Agenda 47 that you agreed with?
What I agreed with was, honestly, I kind of was hoping bringing him in would push the Democrats to find a better party leader. But my biggest reason for voting was the immigration issue. And I know that's been going on for such a long time, and I'd really like to see a meaningful change to that.
Cool. And yet Donald Trump hasn't actually changed the laws.
I don't think the laws have been changed, but other than in BBB, by giving ICE, gosh, it's what, 50 billion or something more than that. He wanted to find a way to get as many of the 10 alleged million that are around. The figure's hard to get by.
It's not alleged. It's reported on
And
by the Department of Homeland Security that at least as we last know, January of 2022 went through the end of the year in 2022. The report was released April of 2024 by the Department of Homeland Security that there was an estimated 11.6 million undocumented immigrants within the country. And the majority of them,
right.
80% of 79% to be exact, 79% of them entered into the country before 2010.
Yeah, that's the figure I'm used to hearing. That sounds about right.
Yeah. And even then, if we just add in the estimated number of individuals that actually are assumed to have entered in under Biden, that only puts us at about 13 million.
Yeah. Look, I think and I'm seeing a little bit of the chat here. I
I
do
really don't
not
care what
like
they
the way
say.
this.
They don't like me
Okay. Well,
anyway, so.
I did not vote for him for what ended up happening in the way he did it. I was hoping for a more streamlined process to make legal immigration easier, iron out some issues with tourist visas, and how there's a lot of, I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, most people come over here and stay, it's overstaying in a tourist visa, it's not crossing the
Correct.
border. But
Yeah,
but
they're
either
not,
way,
that's
I think
not,
it's
that's 100% a civil infraction. It's not even, that doesn't make them illegal. It just makes them undocumented.
I see. So, my point being that I think it's a matter of, I think the American people, including myself, want to see a country that demonstrates, hey, you want to come in, you got to follow rules. However, on the other hand, I did not vote for ICE in hooded clothing that are plain clothes that look like they're kidnapping people, and then chaining them up and then throwing them in a place where they can't even fill the place up. They don't have enough room to even detain that many people. And so I did not foresee these logistical issues and inhumane issues. So I would agree with you on those points.
Yeah. So I guess that would make sense to say that sounds like you're regretting your vote. Would that sound accurate?
I don't know, because
He didn't promise to change any laws. The only thing that he campaigned on was mass deportation. He literally didn't campaign on changing or updating any laws or making it easier for people to come into the country or making the process of becoming a naturalized citizen any easier either. Like, he made no promises on any of those to that effect. He only promised and campaigned on mass deportation and getting woke military members out of the military, the woke left-wing Democrats out of the military. Like, he's making a partisan military. He's made ICE to be similar to his own like little Gestapo. He didn't promise to change any laws. The only person that actually, and like, I don't even like rehashing the election at all, but the only person that actually had a policy that she wanted, like that they wanted to, do anything about the border would have been Harris. She said she would have had them reintroduce the Senator Lankford's bill, which actually changed the laws.
Yeah, everything you said, to my understanding, is accurate. I guess I was naive, but I wouldn't say that I regret my vote, because systemically speaking, it looks like what he's done is some really interesting things by nature of how things have gone by the wayside. For example, the EU, not the EU, NATO has gotten very strong. Except for the fact that the U.S. is supposed to spearhead that. Canada was able to rerun their elections to be a liberal after 10 years of liberals not being popular, and that worked in the favor because Trump alienated them. So
Are you still there?
yeah, I'm still here. I was just listening. I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you can keep going. I didn't say
Okay,
anything,
no,
sorry.
well, you said I was. I don't know if you said I was yapping, so maybe just ask me a question then.
That's why you're picking up. Why is it picking up the wrong microphone? That's why you're still hearing me, guest.
Yeah, I can hear.
There we go.
Oh, I see. You have someone else. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
so why don't you ask me a question then, so I don't yap? I don't want to be your yapper.
Sorry. Okay. No, I was actually talking about the last couple people before you were yapping away. Sorry about that, man. But no, do you think that you have to support the president of the United States?
No, the whole point of America is that we're supposed to be able to criticize our president.
Okay.
I critically analyze everyone that I voted for.
Good. That's good. But I mean, oh my gosh, dog, calm down. Anyways. Well, go ask them to let you out, not me. Sorry.
It's okay. I don't know if you're still there, if you're
I
thinking
am
of a
still here.
question,
I just don't. I mean, I guess I just don't see it. You specifically voted on the policy of immigration, but you directly disagree with what he's doing. To be clear, he hasn't made NATO any stronger. He's actually ruined a lot of our relationships with foreign governments. He made himself able to
yes.
be more easily manipulated as well.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from. So yes and no. Yes, to the point of, the U.S. has kind of moved away and is not supporting NATO being the largest supporter generally. However, I guess I should have rephrased it. The European nations are paying more into NATO now, specifically like the ones that are getting invaded by Russia and their airspace, such as Poland. And so I see a lot of strength coming out of countries like that. Sweden, Finland ended up joining NATO. And then
Finland
see,
joined under
again,
Biden. Finland joined in
well.
2023.
Anyway, my point is, yes, the U.S. is maybe it's shaky if they would support, an issue if it came up. But I would say that generally NATO is getting stronger in the long term. Maybe it's burning a bit in the short term. So that's one thing I do like that he did.
No, he hasn't. Even then, like, let's be very clear. It was perfectly worded when he negotiated with them to get up their military spending to 5%, right? And sorry, do you think I think I missed something that you said? Do you think that these countries are paying into like a NATO fund or something?
I understand that they all pay, for the maintenance of the organization or something. So yes.
So there is a operating fund that they do pay into, but it's not the anything about what Donald Trump is doing with that 5%. Do you know what that 5% is?
I do not know.
That 5% is them spending that 5% of their GDP back into their own military. Okay? That's
see.
not them spending anything towards NATO, on NATO. It's them spending it on themselves. It's for the defense of their own country.
Well, have they been spending more since Trump, whether he intended to or not, indirectly at the very least, caused a lot of these countries to be spending more now?
No, the only reason why countries were spent more was because in 2022, what happened at the beginning of 2022.
Okay, well, then how is Trump weakening NATO?
I didn't make that claim. I said he's weakening our allies. He's weakening our relationships with our allies. He's not even making NATO any stronger because they don't have to calculate if anyone's meeting that 5% until he's already out of office in 2029. No one's calculating if they're holding their feet to the fire if they meet that 5% until after he's out of office.
Okay, all right, I'll concede that then. I mean,
yeah, it's very similar to him being like, I'm the one that got them to agree to increase their spending to 2% back when he was in office, when it actually was from Obama in 2014.
Okay, I don't know what else to say. I mean, yes, immigration was my number one issue, but other than that, I really was looking at it more from a macro perspective of I kind of wanted to show what it's going to look like if this is the direction we go in, hoping the pendulum would swing backwards to a more reasonable direction like we've had in the past, even with presidents like Bush, who now we don't see as bad, despite the war and all of that, the lies and all that stuff. Dick Cheney, we could go into all that. I don't want to go into all of that, but point being that I also voted because I wanted to see what would happen, and I wanted the American people to see what happened, and I was curious. So, but it's a question of now what's going to happen next. I've worked with Young America's Foundation, and they worked directly with the Heritage Foundation. I remember asking my chapter, wait, so you support Project 2025? And they're actually drafters on it, and they didn't even know that they were the chapter I was a part of. So that was very interesting. But I think generally what we're dealing with here is just so much misinformation on both sides, and we're fighting. Like, you and I should not be fighting just because we disagree.
I'm not fighting
And
with
I
you.
don't think people should be fighting. Yeah, we're not. I think this tone is this is a good tone. But the other, callers, as I saw, it's just like back and forth, fight. I mean, this is not how you get a conversation going. This is not how we talk. Like, what happened to that? That's what I want to come back. I'm like an older conservative type of
Sorry,
thing. So.
it doesn't sound like it. Sorry,
In what way?
do you agree with the Heritage Foundation?
No. I mean, well, the Heritage Foundation has done a lot of work since the 60s that have helped with conservative legislation, but I would say in the last 10, 15 years, they've really shifted more to the far right, and they don't really represent the Reagan values anymore.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
no, I don't. I don't support them. I mean, I'm in YAF. I support them to an extent, but I don't support.
I think
the
here,
Heritage
I guess
Foundation
I'll just sum this up real quick. I think that anybody that can
Sure.
still support a president that gloats about being able to cause damage to the American people, the American government, the American workers, and still says with their full chest that they can support Donald Trump is absolutely deplorable. That includes you, sir. That you're okay because apparently hurting a United States citizen is not a deal breaker for you, and I can't get behind that. Because
I
it's certainly
understand,
a deal breaker for me. But I do hope
and
you have
that's
a great rest of your Saturday. That explains a lot. Not him, guys. The Senate should be appointed by state governors like it used to be, and House elected by the people as intents by the founders, and remove parliamentary from the Senate. Go back to basics. Sure, buddy. After you learn how to spell intense and what you meant. Aaron, thank you for the jewels. That was you? Okay, Colin, I think. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. How old are you?
I am 27.
27. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Yes, by default, yes.
Is it under your belief that because you voted for somebody, you have to support them?
It's convoluted in the sense that if I don't support him, I don't think I support the government.
Incorrect,
Is that kind of where that
actually.
goes?
That might be your belief system, and I'm going to let you know something because I tell this to people all the time. See, the reason why, and even the last caller understands that he is not required to support Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form just because he voted for him, because he still believes that it is our job as the American people
awesome.
to critique the president of the United States. In no way, shape, or form does the president require or do you owe your support to the president of the United States, especially if he hasn't done anything specifically for you or that anything that's helpful to the American people, which I would posit to say that Donald Trump most assuredly has not. But no way, shape, or form are you required by default in any way to support the president of the United States of America. You can support the United States without supporting him.
Okay. So, but let's go with some common ground first, because I feel like that's going to be a better place to start rather than just trying to argue back and forth. I mean, we can argue all day long. That's fine.
Giddy up. Go ahead.
So, like, when you say America, like, what is your vision of America, just really quickly, like in your mind?
Not what's happening right now. I don't really know how to answer
Okay.
that for you because I'm
So,
not
like,
the person in
that's
charge to
fine.
make policies.
Totally fine. Like, if you could pick a point in the last 245 years, 50 years, whatever it is, Where did America
249
represent
years.
49? I'm so sorry. Where would America have been represented best for you? Like, yep, right
They
there,
literally
that's
never
great.
have. The United States of America
Okay,
has never been literally represented in any way for me.
to you, not at
Yeah,
all.
for
Is that
me.
okay?
Or for any
Could you
woman
pick
in
somewhere?
America, because I don't know if you realize this, but we've never had a woman as president of the United States of America. And so, therefore, just from that alone, I can never have seen a representation of myself as president.
Sure, and
Cool.
that sucks and all, but we also don't have a draft for you guys either, which you should. How do you feel about that?
I don't disagree with that. If
Okay,
the draft was
cool.
available to women, I would not have cried about it or been upset about it. I actually wanted to serve my country. I couldn't because of medical issues. Not that that's any of your business, but
No,
just
hey,
putting that
no
out there.
worries. I'm just,
Giddy up.
I mean, as long as you, yeah, I was gonna say, as long as you're cool with the idea of 50-50 as far as draft, then there's some common ground there.
Yeah.
Is there like a
Because
country
as
where
long as
you
we
have like a
also
model?
agree that it was literally the patriarchy that is the one that forced men to sign up for the draft, and it's men that are still requiring other men to sign up for the draft
Yeah, I mean, correct. I'm not going to argue that point, but I
because
mean,
of sexism.
I don't know if I'd call it sexism.
It
I think it
is.
comes down from.
When we have
I don't agree with that.
the head of the Department of Defense has literally said that he doesn't believe that women should be serving in combat roles, then yes, it is in fact sexism because it's just based off of their gender and their sex.
Well, incorrect. That is sexism by definition. But at the end
That
of the
is
day, there are.
sexism.
Correct. I
Period.
disagree
I'm
with
so
you.
glad you can agree that
I
it's
agree. I
sexism by
agree.
definition, which means it's sexism.
Right. But I don't see that as an issue when it comes to combat or anything really related to it. You can call
Women
it
fought
sexism. I'll agree with you.
I'm sorry, the feminist movement has always been fighting for women to have equal rights
It-
in this
Let
country
me
and be
just add the
considered the
caveat.
same or be considered just slight, even
Sure.
to the bare
L-
minimum equals of their male
Sure.
counterparts, right? Like that's
Sure.
what the feminist movement has been fighting for a long time. And I feel like we're going off on this weird fucking diatribe with you right now, which is
Sure.
just kind of
No,
annoying to
I
me
wouldn't.
right now. But
I wouldn't agree with that either. The
you know, you
important
are
thing
like,
is.
we're going so far away from anything to do with Donald Trump. So, and what
No,
he's doing to this
need to
country.
what I wanted to find is common ground. So really quick, my mother is a 17-year veteran of the Navy. So by no means am I saying women should not be in the military. What I am saying when it comes to combat, that is
Women fought.
100%.
Yeah. Tell me when women were allowed to serve in combat roles. Do you know the year?
I want to say early 90s.
Incorrect.
Okay, early 80s at minimum.
Incorrect.
Okay, when was the first woman allowed to serve in combat? Go ahead and Google that because I don't know
2016.
that. Cool. Serve in combat in general because my mom was in combat in Iraq.
Have combat roles.
Combat
2016.
roles. Okay, now we're changing it. No, I'm being more
I
general.
said
I'm saying
combat roles the entire time.
Okay, fair enough. You got me there. What I'm saying is, in general, women have had for the last, we'll say, would it be fair to say last 30 years, they've had an option to go into combat. I'm not saying combat roles, but they've had
No,
an
it wouldn't
option
have
to
been
be in
their option
combat
to.
zones. Don't oh God me, right? We need a common ground first. We don't need to argue.
Yeah. Women have been indirectly serving in combat since World War One. Let's be very clear. Women have gone and entered into military service, dressed up and presenting themselves as men in order to fight. So if you want to go all the way back and make it that way
Wait. Are we
and not
talking
have
about
an
like
understanding
very
that roles are
0.1% of
completely
women that
different,
snuck in?
that roles are
No.
completely different than
We're
actually
not
going in
gonna
and
make
fighting for the military and
no,
just because
no.
you chose to or you lied about what sex or gender you were. Like, let's
No,
be
we're not
very
gonna
clear.
make it a
Those are two
Mulan
different
moment.
things.
No,
You're the one that made it
negative.
extremely weirdly, oddly, just far outside sending of the business because you didn't have an understanding of what combat roles were.
It's not about combat roles. We were talking generally.
I literally said Pete Hegseth doesn't believe that women should serve in combat roles. And then you went into women being deployed into combat zones because you didn't understand that it was different. For fuck's sakes. Like, you didn't understand that it was different. Don't try to come up here and use your mother's military service to prove something. For fuck's sake, that was dumb. Yeah, he literally didn't listen. I said specifically combat roles. Try opening your ears. Apparently, guys, so Polly came down here to tell me that all of y'all, some of y'all thought, not all of y'all, but some of y'all thought that I literally was like in support of Trump. Let me be very clear. I run this same topic and I've had this same background for months. Yeah, B. Arthur served. There was women that served in the Revolutionary War. Deborah Sampson. Go look your shit up. Like, if you want to make it that way, then fine, I can too. But I was talking about specifically roles where women were allowed to be designated the combat MOS or AFRS. For fuck's sake. Adonis, thank you for the $9.99. Thanks for stating facts. Seems that conservatives are very aren't. I think you meant aren't or are. I don't know which one. I think you meant aren't. My last unit, my buddy's wife had her combat action and multiple Purple Hearts, so shut the fuck up. Yeah, thank you, Walosi. I appreciate that. And thank you, Jules, for all of the jewels. Aren't. Okay, thank you, Adonis. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 28.
28. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
I am, yes.
Okay. And what has you questioning your support in Donald Trump or the MAGA movement today?
I'm not sure about that directly. I just wanted to say, I think I know the reason you don't like to talk about previous.
Again, guys, there is no reason I don't like talking about previous callers. It's specifically because I like starting a fresh new conversation with everybody. Because otherwise, I spend in the entirety of 2 hours on my live talking about one subject. If I wanted to talk about one singular subject, I would have made it the entire conversation, like the entire topic of my life. Whether it was immigration, whether it was Congress, whether it's SNAP, whether it's health insurance, I would have made it the entire topic if I wanted to stay on one conversation. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
You're awesome. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Nigga.
Grow up, child. You literally sounded like you still have a placenta on you. I swear I could smell that shit through the phone. That was fucking weird. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm. You just hung up on me. You hung up on me. But I wanted to reset.
No, I'm good. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there? Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yep, right here.
Did I hang up
Can you hear
on
me?
you already?
What was that?
No, it doesn't look like it. Hi, how old are you?
33.
Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Awesome.
Nope.
No. All right. Well, I appreciate you. You have a good one. Thank you for calling this MAGA support.
Donald Trump does support.
Y'all are so fucking annoying. Listen, guys. This is how, okay. This is why I know why you voted and still support Donald Trump. If I hang up on you, that is me saying that you do not have my consent to talk to me. Because you don't understand consent, I know exactly why you still support Donald Trump. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Nigger whore.
Fuck's sakes. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Nigga, nigga, nigga.
Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes.
Awesome. How old are you?
28 years old.
Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Yes and no.
Okay. What has you questioning your support in Donald Trump or the MAGA movement today?
What has me questioning my support is him giving out a lot of money and printing more money into the economy.
Okay. And can you identify 3 lies that Donald Trump has told since he was inaugurated into office?
I think Donald Trump has told a lot of lies. Every politician has. To identify 3, he's probably told a lot more than that.
So awesome. So that means you should be able to identify at least 3.
3 lies that Donald Trump has told.
Yes. If you know that Donald Trump has told so many lies, it should be quite easy to identify 3.
Number 1, he told everyone that he would close the border. I don't think he did. I think the people that voted for him were hoping for, less immigration into the country. They were hoping for the borders to be closed. I don't think that's happened.
Can you give me 1 second? I just want to, since Nikki wants to be somebody that wants to drag on other women, let me be very clear. Not to you, caller. You're fine. She says, I'm going to read this out loud. Girl, what? You posted the number for all to see. That's you giving consent to call, dummy. So, hi, Nikki. I love that you are a woman that seems to want to drag down other women. I'm going to explain to you what I said, and maybe if I slow it down, you'll understand. I said, I've withdrawn my consent to talking to you, not for them to continue to call. Do you see how talk and call are entirely 2 different things? Nikki, I hope that helps. Next time you want to be a woman that hates on other women, I advise you to call the phone number. And then you can hate on me over the phone. Say it with your full chest, sweetheart. All right. So yes, Donald Trump did campaign heavily, right, on closing the border, mass deportations, etc., etc., etc. Right? So I agree with you on that. And again, the border is not closed because it would quite literally be impossible to close the border.
I agree with you on that. I think everything that is happening in the country right now, first I want to say that a lot of the reasons why people voted for Donald Trump is
I don't really care about why people voted for Donald Trump. I care about why people on earth would still even think about still supporting him, considering all the shit he's doing to hurt the United States of America and the citizens within the United States. All right. So we got close the border. What are 2 other lies that you can think of?
2 other lies. I'm not really fresh on politics right now, but I would definitely like to have a discussion. What are 2 lies that come out to you the most on the reason that people support Donald Trump? I want to hear 2 things that people tell you that he had lied about. 2 reasons, because I don't follow politics. I don't follow federal politics that closely because it doesn't impact my life that much. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize is depending on where you live, right? I live in rural America and federal politics don't impact my life that much. But I want to hear 2 more lies that you have, and maybe we can form some talking points about that.
Donald Trump says that he has ended or defeated inflation. He said both ways. He said that they're lying to you when they say that inflation is up.
As a voter of Donald Trump myself, that's definitely a lie.
It's not even just your feelings. It is, in fact, 100% a lie, according to his own Bureau of Labor Statistics, with his own appointee sitting up top at the head of it. Because the inflation data was released on October 20. Sorry, I did have to look at the calendar. 24th. October 24th, 2025, showing that year over year our inflation increased to 3%, month over month, 0.3%. So inflation is in fact up. Donald Trump is lying.
Yeah, I think Donald Trump is that's definitely a blatant lie.
Yeah, Donald
And
Trump also
inflation is
says
definitely
grocery prices are down, and we know based on inflation data that they are also up.
so. I'm kind of like a nerd on economy, and some of the things that Donald Trump said, I was in favor for. With the tariffs that he's imposing right now, I'm fully aware that that is going to crash the economy. That is going to make a worse life for every American. But I think a lot of people are in support of that. And am I going to say that this is going to fix the economy? 100% absolute.
They're in
That
support
is
of it
not what I'm
because
saying.
they don't understand what it means.
Well, I understand what it means, and I understand fully that the tariffs that Trump is talking about is going to fully crash the economy. But I like to have more of a long-term perspective on things, and I think a reason why a lot of people voted for Donald Trump is they're looking back to 1950s America.
I
And,
don't care about why anybody voted for Donald Trump.
Okay.
That is irrelevant. Literally on freaking Wednesday, we will be 1 year away from the election. It is so far irrelevant at this point, it doesn't matter. But I find it very odd for anyone to just be okay with the economy crashing.
Well, I was right. So we have rampant inflation. And if we look at the US dollar, 40% of all US dollars in our economy have been printed in a measly 2 years. From 2020 to 2022, 40% of all US dollars in our economy have been printed.
Who was president in 2020?
Donald Trump was president. And
Awesome.
this
You would
is
be
why I'm
surprised
bringing
how
up,
many people it's that seems to be a trick question for them. You might be surprised by
this
that.
is why I'm bringing up this fact is some of the reasons why I don't agree with Donald Trump. And when I said in the beginning some of the economic things where I don't agree with the excessive money printing, this is one of the reasons why, is because 40% of the US dollars were printed between 2020 and 2022. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of Donald Trump, because whenever the stock market or the economy is not going in his direction, it seems like the answer is to turn on the money printer. But I think the tariffs are kind of the opposite of that. It's definitely going to crash the stock market, the economy, real estate prices, everything. But I think it's probably going to cause, in order to get back to America being self-sufficient, I really think the only way to do that is to have a lot of years of economic downturn. And maybe that's something a lot of Trump voters don't realize, but that is something that has to happen in order to be a self-sufficient country.
So you're okay with millions of American citizens being hurt in the process?
What was that?
You're okay with millions of American citizens being hurt in the process?
I think all American citizens being hurt in the process is one of the consequences that we have to endure, because right now we're living on borrowed time. The debt that this country has, and we've been living on borrowed time for a long time. So I don't think anybody has the answer to that, but the only real solution is to work back to an economy where our country can be self-sufficient.
So what you're saying is people have to die for your rights, and you're okay with it?
I think everybody has the right. Well, what rights are you describing?
The right to live, the right freedom of speech, freedom to protest, like all of the rights that are enumerated to individuals in the Constitution, human rights, just as a basic idea. You think that people need to, you're okay with people dying for your idea of a utopian world to occur?
No, I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody's right to something negates somebody's death. I think that is pretty dystopian. But what I do believe is that everybody working towards a common goal or a common good. And that is something that takes sacrifice. And the sacrifice isn't necessarily somebody else's rights to life or health care or necessities being taken away. I think this country is great because it has a good mix of capitalism and socialism. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. It doesn't have to be completely capitalism or completely socialism. That's why we're a democracy, because capitalists can thrive, but also we have the checks and balances so that the more disenfranchised people of this country have an opportunity to get back on their feet and to be helped. I 100% believe in helping the disenfranchised people within reason, and so that those systems can't be taken advantage of. But I think that's why we have the checks and balances that we have. But I think that's something that's so great about this country, is we have the mix of both capitalism and socialism. So to answer your question, no, I don't think anybody's health care should be taken away. I don't think anybody's life should be lost. I don't think there would need to be that great of a sacrifice for something. And if you can bring up a topic or a reason why people would have to die for our economy to prosper, I would love to hear it.
Oh, I don't think anybody should have to die for our economy to prosper. But the fact is that you're willing for people to suffer in the process for the idea of the economy to get back to the United States being somehow self-sufficient. Even though we were considered the most energy independent country in just the last 2 years, 2023 and 2024, in the entire world, right? And we were the most energy independent that we'd ever been throughout history in 2023 and 2024. According to the EIA.gov, that has not been updated to reflect otherwise, even under Donald Trump's administration. I just, like, again, I'm going to kind of repeat what I said before. I think that anyone that's okay with allowing individuals in this country to suffer, be unable to afford health insurance, be kicked off health insurance, to lose access to supplemental nutrition, the SNAP benefits, right, which helps children in this country, and then still support the guy that's like, yeah, just do it. That's trying to avoid paying out SNAP benefits today. I think anybody that still supports them is just, sorry, I don't think that's a good look. And then even then, everything that you've kind of said has been, you're just giving a pass to it, and I just don't think that's a good thing. Giving
Right.
pass
We
to
can
these
make
actions is just not okay, in my opinion. Also, like, it's impossible for our country to be self-sufficient, or completely cut off from the rest of the world when we are the world's #1 economy, right? Like, when we have been for a while. When we're already this big, that means other countries rely upon us, and we do rely on other countries. It's also impossible for the United States to produce every single thing within the United States of America. For example, aluminum. There are three resources that are needed in order to make aluminum cans, aluminum foil, that we cannot source anywhere within the United States of America, raw materials. And again, but there's a very specific tariff placed on aluminum and the parts to make up aluminum by Donald Trump and his administration, because I guess they don't realize that we don't have these things. Coffee is another thing that's being tariffed, when the only place in the United States of America that can grow coffee beans in the regions that they like, in the climate that needs to grow them, is Hawaii, and Hawaii does not, unless we turned all of the islands, specifically, thank you, Ken, so much, all of the islands to just growing coffee. That would be the only way we'd have some kind of idea of being able to get coffee to just a percentage of Americans, like, just to increase it. But that means nobody would be able to live in Hawaii anymore. Like, these things are illogical. It is quite impossible for the United States of America to be 100% self-sufficient, independent from the rest of the world. It's not going to occur. Isolationism does not work in the
Right.
21st century.
Right. You're 100% right, and I guess I should have stated that differently. Is not necessarily that I want America to be completely isolated from all other countries, but I want the place where I grew up, the place where I've thrived, to be still the economic superpower that it was, and I want us to utilize
We are an economic
the
superpower
resources.
today. We don't need to go back to was. It is currently an economic superpower.
You're right. You're definitely correct.
And the tariffs only
But
hurt
I
American
want
citizens, and tariffs 100% effective. They have a
you're
negative
you're right.
impact on inflation. That was even stated by Jerome Powell many times.
You're correct. Tariffs have a negative impact on the citizens of this country
On inflation.
and on inflation.
Yes.
Yes. Short term, 100%. Long term, I don't know if that's necessarily there's a statistic that can prove that.
Even long term, let's see. Can I find? Let's see.
And inflation is relative to the US dollar, right? So when we look at like house prices compared to the US dollar, they're crazy. But when we look at house prices compared to like the price of gold, they're actually fairly low. And there's some other economic factors that kind of
House prices is increasing. That's
But
under
compared-
CPI, like under the Consumer Price Index, that's categorized under shelter, and shelter is increasing. Housing prices have not decreased.
But when we compare them to the price of gold, and like I said, this is a pretty nuanced statistic, but if you actually look at house pricing for the US dollar compared to the price of ounces in gold, they're actually fairly low, actually pretty similar to what they were in the Great Depression. And I believe the reason for that is when the government prints more money, most of that money goes to the larger corporations, right? And when the economy is in a downturn, people buy more gold. So obviously the price of gold right now is inflated, and companies or investment firms buy real estate. So like gold in the correlation of housing is kind of like an inverse in a way. In the short term, it's almost an inverse relationship. but long term, you actually, if you look up a graph of the long term housing price index of US dollars versus gold, it's actually pretty impressive, because we're actually in a lower term.
Yeah, so there is
And
no
that,
direct correlation causation between the price of gold and the price of housing. And just for those people that don't realize this in the chat, this is directly from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'll go ahead and pull it right back up at the top so you guys can see this. The cost of housing is in fact still going up. Right now, the cost of housing has increased by 3.6% in the year of 2025. 3.6% it's gone up on average across this country. The cost of gold is going up because people are buying it, trading it, and actively they're just seeing more movement in gold because people are worried about the value of the United States dollar because we're no longer backed, right? We moved away from fiat currency. So, cool. Your point meant nothing. I'm sorry.
well, that's
There is
one of
no
the, well, that's,
correlation causation for the cost of gold to the cost of housing, because if that was the case, guess what? We wouldn't be seeing the cost of housing going up across the entire world. But it is increasing across the entire world, whereas the value of gold is not increasing across the entire world. It is strictly a unique thing to people being scared in the United States economy right now, right? So again, your correlation
well,
causation falls
that was
flat.
a stipulation.
No,
That was a stipulation
dude.
that I mentioned.
Yeah, okay.
That
No,
was
I
a
don't know if
stipulation that I
many people
mentioned.
could even follow you. I was bored listening to you. I was looking up other things.
Well, let me word it in a better way. That was a stipulation that I
I'm good.
mentioned
I
when I,
withdraw consent from that.
okay.
Yeah. I hope you
But
have a good
the
Saturday.
interesting thing about,
I don't know. I was trying to spin it to a good thing. And so, Aquila, your pricing of housing could have gone down in Florida in one state. But according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics across the country, on average, the cost of housing is up 3.6%. That's all. Like, it could be going down in Florida. Doesn't mean that that's representative of the entire country. On average, it's up. All right. But guys, I am going to go ahead and end because I need to eat lunch and all of the good things there. Okay, Aquila, you don't need to keep repeating. It might be down in one state. It's up across the country. No, I didn't. Okay. Anyways, y'all have a good rest of your night. I will see you back tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time. And I will see you guys then. If you guys haven't hit that follow button or subscribe button, depending on where you're looking at. Okay, bye. Sorry guys. So if you haven't hit that follow button or the subscribe button, go ahead and do it now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.